Good evening, everyone. Hi, and welcome to AERTiCKET's exclusive cruise product demo webinar. My name is Jasmine, and I'll be your host for today's session. I hope you're all doing very well and are as excited as like us, what we have in store for you today. So today we are going to show you on how our innovative cruise product works, explore the wide range of cruise offerings available through our platform, and demonstrate exactly how you can benefit from using Cockpit's cruise booking system. Also, it's a pleasure to welcome Mrs. Anita Jain, a managing editor at the Digital Travelers and a recognized cruise voice. Many in trade known her as Cruise Addict, with Indian cruise connoisseurs. Anita has also sailed as a hosted journalist, including onboard resorts World One for its inaugural Gulf region voyage. So she brings strong first-hand cruise perspective to today's discussion. Here's what we have planned for you today. So for a smooth and seamless session, I will be keeping everyone on mute throughout the presentation. Please feel free to use the chat box for any questions you may have, and we will address all of them in our dedicated Q&A session at the end. Now let's get this started with our launch video.
There's a whole world waiting to be discovered, where the journey becomes as unforgettable as the destination. The world of cruising, now on AERTiCKET. With access to over 30 cruise lines and the most sought-after routes across the globe, opening new possibilities in the way you sell travel and in the experiences you bring to your customers. Sail the Caribbean. Explore Europe. Experience Asia. Discover Alaska and beyond. From premium to luxury cruise brands worldwide, this is cruise travel at scale. Bigger itineraries, better experiences, stronger earning potential. One platform for everything. Cockpit by AERTiCKET.
Thank you so much for the video. Now I have the pleasure of introducing someone who has been instrumental in bringing this exciting product to life. Please join me in welcoming our Managing Director, Mr. Vijay Kesavan, whose leadership has been pivotal in establishing India's first and largest cruise liner initiative and in shaping a strong partnership across the cruise ecosystem. He will share his vision and a few important points about our cruise offerings. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jasmine. Can you all hear me? Jasmine, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. And welcome to a truly historic moment for AERTiCKET India and for the entire Indian travel industry. Today, we're not just launching a new product, we're launching India's first ever B2B cruise GDS, as someone termed it, a platform that puts the entire cruise world at your fingertips. For the first time in India, you can discover, compare, learn, and instantly book 31 plus cruise liners online, all on one single powerful platform. This is a digital transformation that cruising in India has been waiting for. This is speed. This is simplicity. This is the future. I want to touch upon the market. Yeah, I saw the data. I think the Indian cruise market generated what? I think $1 billion in US dollar revenues in 2025. And it is suggested that it will go up to $3 billion by the year 2030. That makes India the second fastest growing cruise market in the world. So yes, the opportunity is real, it's big, and it's growing faster than most travel categories today. And of course, it is the most rewarding product. I mean, in an industry where margins are shrinking, I was surprised to hear that when I came back into the B2B business after a long time, the number of airlines that still talks about 0% commission, cruising still offers 15%, which is great. So it is making it the most profitable category for all travel partners. And I say this with my experience. My time at Cordelia Cruises taught me something very important. Cruising is not just a holiday. It's an emotional, high-value experience that customers love and agents profit from. We have also invested in a 24/7 customer support team. This team is fully trained. They have trained cruise experts who can help you with all your needs and questions. We're also, as I was just mentioning to my fellow colleagues, we're also investing in this segment. AERTiCKET Germany is actually investing in this segment. We're launching cruises here in India, and in 6 months from today, we are actually launching cruises across Europe and South America and North America through this platform called Cockpit. So cruises is not, it's not just a launch, it's a long-term mission. We are also going to work closely with all our partners who are here in investing in this segment, whether it's marketing, whether it's training, tools or resources that can help all of you sell more cruises. This is our commitment to you. I would now like to invite Shiju Radhakrishnan, who has actually worked very hard for the last 2 years to build this product, beautiful product. And he's going to take us through the demo for you. And before that, I would also like to thank all the partners who I believe are the real pillars for where cruising is in India today. So big thank you to all our guest speakers. Over to you, Shiju.
Thank you so much, Vijay. Thank you, Jaswin, for the introduction. And thanks everyone who have joined today. It's really exciting for me to come and speak to you like this and then showcase what we've built, at AERTiCKET, what you call Cockpit. You're going to see that right now. The space of cruise, as you see right now, 2025, apparently 400,000 Indians took an international cruise. And as we see, 27% CAGR, that's a growth rate that we have been witnessing for the last 4 to 5 years' time. And by 2030, India is expected to be $3 billion in market opportunity. Right now, India is the second fastest growing market. And by 2030, it's expected to be the third largest market in the world, next to US and China. That's a massive opportunity for everyone who is actually into cruises right now. But then very interestingly, look at the market right now. A decent majority of those agents out there in the market do not have the right set of tools, the technologically enabled tools to be able to sell cruises. Despite having high margins of up to 15-18%, we don't have a tool. Interestingly, 99% of the total bookings that we've had in 2025 have gone from travel agents, meaning these customers are not booking directly with the cruise lines. They're not booking on an OTA platform. They book through an agent. Why? Because cruises are complex. Cruises involves a lot of experience. It's not a commodity product. They will have to have all of those consultative engagements. You have to have those questions answered, hundreds of questions answered to be able to book it. And that's one of the reasons this session, the next maybe 45 minutes of the time, would probably be the most crucial time that you have, maybe for the next 3-4 years of time, when it comes to maximizing your profitability, maximizing your GOVs. What we have here is the screen of Cockpit, cockpit.airticket.in. You can see that when you land here, which is a flights, page. But then the next two flights, you have visas and then you have cruise. When you click on cruise, you get this page. Scroll down, you can see a bunch of things which deals with the destinations, how to book cruise and things like that. But here, this is the most important place which has to be, familiar for you. You can see the destinations here. As you see, there are a bunch of destinations, hundreds of destinations. You can also see how many sailings are there for each of those destinations. 429 for Caribbean Southern. If you take Europe, for example, it'll be running into 5,000 plus. You can see the ports. Each of those destinations have got multiple ports. You can see the number of sailings under each port. And you can select the durations. If you see, the majority of the sailings would be for 7 to 9 nights, because that's the most popular one. Then you can see the cruise lines here. See the list of cruise lines, right from MSC and down to the most boutique cruise line you can find here. You can see that there are different sailings, 3,000 plus sailing from MSC, and all of them you can see the brackets. And the ships, for each of those cruise lines, how many ships are there? There are 650 ships right now, what we can see on the data that we have right now. Now, to be able to explain each of those destinations, there are 6 destinations that we picked, which probably would be the most amazing places that you would probably want to send your customers to. And the first one, not because of the alphabetical order, but because of the increasing traction that we see in the market, especially from a B2C feed point, it's Alaska. Alaska, which is part of North America, which is lying next to Canada and US, has got an amazing experience, waiting for you, for your customers. And there is an increasing trend. Up to 7% of the people who have taken an international cruise from India have been to Alaska last year, the last 2 years' time. We have an expert who can actually talk about Alaska and who's also, you know, not just an expert just because he's actually familiar with Alaska, but because he's also representing Princess Cruise and Cunard and P&O and Hurtigruten when it comes to these cruises operations in India. I would request Nishid to spend a few minutes elaborating on his experience, 20 plus years of experience in this space. He has got a lot of insights for us. Nishid, over to you.
I hope he's not on mute, na? Jashwin, just check, please.
I have unmuted myself. Okay, fine. All right, namaskar and a very good afternoon, my dear friends from across the country. This is Nishit Saxena. Many thanks to you, Team Get My Cruises and Team AERTiCKET for such a wonderful opportunity. An opportunity to speak with my favorite people in this world, the travel agents. And why so? It is not a difficult thing to answer. Let me explain how critically important all of you are to us, the cruise line representatives in India, in just three ways. Um, you are the people who are the first ones to know when your passengers are ready to travel for a vacation next. And you know about their travel history, and you know about their travel preferences, and you know about their spending habits. This is a great advantage which you have, and this cannot be ignored. Secondly, you are the ones who bridge both sides of the business. On one hand, you interact with the clients and find out about their travel plans and service them at odd hours. On the other hand, you deal with people like us, the whole lot of us, which you will get to see today also. The suppliers who provide endless options and in our case, multiple cruises, and then assist you to understand and present the facts to you and your clients. It helps you close the sale. What Siju has shown, what Vijay is doing, they're doing a great job because they are bringing the cruise booking tool right on your desk. By doing that, they are actually making things, making you guys an extension of our offices or the cruise lines, because sitting at your desk, you can easily, with the ease of, good flow, you can find out about various options, because it is so difficult that right now you're talking to somebody about Alaska. The next call that you get, and the guy say, oh, I want to go to Japan. And then suddenly you have to switch to Japan mode. And then third call which comes to you could be for Norway. So with all that wide information, you are, all the information is is at your fingertips. And finally, the beauty is that you keep doing with us throughout the year. Sometimes for Alaska, sometimes for Mediterranean, sometimes for Japan, Caribbean, and other places. So the story doesn't end here, and that is why I call you my favorite people. Having said this, the cruising canvas is very, very, very large, and today I shall speak to you about few items, a very few items which should help you grow your revenue and find out how interesting and easy it is to promote cruising to your clients. My company is called Cruise Professionals. We represent four different types of cruise lines based on the type of ships. First is the large ship premium cruise ships, which is the Princess Cruises, P&O Cruises UK, and Cunard. Second line is the expedition ships, basically the Hurtigruten Expeditions and Aurora. And third is the small ship cruising, which is Crystal and Seaborn. And last not the least, we have the working vessels of Hurtigruten in coastal Norway. These ships cover a vast majority of destinations, namely Alaska, Antarctica, Caribbean, Japan, New Zealand, Canary Island, and so on. The list is endless. But as Siju has mentioned, I shall give you a small peek into destination Alaska. As for the next 6 to 7 months, Alaska would be in demand, a lot in demand. While many cruise lines sail in Alaska waters, Princess has a supremacy in this region for nearly 55 years. I repeat, 55 years for following reasons. For the year 2026, we have a deployment of 8 ships in Alaska, which, if you take an average about 2,500 passengers per ship, this translates into 20,000 guests every week into Alaska. This should give a clear indication why is Princess dominating force in and the best in Alaska. But does such large passenger volumes, does it mean that Princess will be the cheapest in the market? No. We price our cruises moderately, but provide excellent onboard services. Interesting shore excursions, make sure that the food which is offered on the ship is better than the what a guest would get at most of the hotels, and add a lot of value through their packages. Additionally, Alaska is not about just the cruise part. Every Alaska itinerary would include the 3 Alaskan ports, that is Skagway, Juneau, and Ketchikan. But in addition to that, the land mass of Alaska is 1/8 the size of North America. And Princess owns and operates 5 wilderness lodges in Alaska. Each of the Princess cruise tour assures 100% visit to Denali National Park. And Princess is the only cruise line to have 89 sailings to Glacial Bay National Park. This number 89 may not sound very big, but let me explain to you why. Like any national park, there are limited entry passes given to various cruise lines. Like if even if you go to like a wildlife park here in India, there are certain licenses which are given that okay, you only so many people can go. So we have got the maximum number of entry permits in Glacier Bay National Park, which is one of the most beautiful sights when you wake up and see the changing colors of the glaciers in Alaska. And good news is that all these cruises and cruise tours in Alaska and all the cruise line we handle shall be available through Get My Cruises website, including the one-way voyages from Vancouver to Anchorage, or the return Seattle round trip inside passage, or voyages from San Francisco. So Alaska in totality is definitely covered, but in addition to that, you will have many more options, through the Get My Cruises and the air ticket portal. If you have been focused on bookings airline ticket only, this I'm telling you as a friend, and somebody who has been in this business for a decently long time, because I moved away from airlines in about in 1994, 95, 95, 96, 97, sorry. And after that, I happened to work with Vijay also in Interglobe. So I would say that if you have been focused on cruise line booking airline ticket only, please start your learning curve for cruises today, as most cruise lines provide minimum 8 to 10% earnings. And the best is that most of the clients seeking a premium experience book higher cabin category, resulting in higher earning potential. I would also touch upon why you should work always with the authorized representative for different cruise lines and their appointed PSAs and partners. When the going is good, there's no issue. But if for some reason you or your passengers get into some kind of situation, only an authorized representative, a PSA, a partner could come to your help. And your passengers would really thank you for that, because you're saving some money, you're trying to book through somebody who's out there who you don't know. God help you when something, as they say, shit hits the roof. Truthfully, I can speak eternally and endlessly and provide you many case studies to grow your understanding and business. But for today, I shall pass the baton back to the Get My Cruises team and other speakers who shall have more interesting and different perspectives to you. Happy cruising to all of you. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nishit. It was really interesting to listen to everything that you said. Thank you so much for the time that you spent with us today. Please be there. Please don't leave. Thank you. Yeah, so what we have just heard from Nishit is about Alaska and mostly about Princess. The next place that you may want to know more would be Bahamas. Bahamas is very interesting in one way that it's an evergreen destination running throughout the year. You can literally blindly send customers to Bahamas just that, okay, you need to have the US visa, which is a little tough to come by. But then if they have the US visa, it's one of the most value for money, most amazing experience, which can sell throughout the year. As you see here, there are a bunch of good, really amazing cruise lines out there. You have Carnival, MSC, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian Cruise Lines, Celebrity, and so on and so forth. You can see the list of sailings here. We'll go deep into it a little later, but then the typical itineraries would be 3 nights, 3, 4 nights, up to 4, 5 nights. That's a usual trend that we have seen. But then to speak more about Bahamas, we have someone very special, the CEO and Executive Director of Stick Travel Group, who is also representing Holland America Line, Windstar, Celestial Aerosa, Polar Expeditions, Variety, and Conan. Here, we would probably look forward to hear from you, Isha, more about your experience of being in this space for so long as Stick as a group, and most importantly, your insights on HAL and any other cruise lines that you think are relevant and important for Indian travel agent fraternity to focus on. Isha, please.
Thank you. Thanks, Siju. And thank you, to Vijay, to the whole Get My Cruise and Air Ticket team for putting this together. It is such a pleasure to reconnect with the trade community and our customers, our joint customers. So thank you all for taking the time this Friday evening to give an hour of your lives to cruises. As a lot of people in industry know, I'm a cruise crusader, so I believe strongly in the massive opportunity for the travel industry, for travel agents to unlock revenue through cruises. And just to speak a little bit more on the point that Nishit opened with, that really, and Chiju opened with as well, that the outbound tourism market is growing exponentially in India. The cruise landscape, although still very niche and small, has tremendous potential. And the key to unlocking that revenue is the travel industry, are people like yourselves, travel agents. Why? Because cruising is a one-stop product. It's an easy sell. It's high margin. It has greater barriers for customers to piece together an experience together and fight with you on margin versus experience. And this is really where travel agents have the opportunity to shine as travel advisors, because a cruise is a handheld product. It's a product that requires you to really hold your customer's hand and play the expert's role. And typically, there are three elements involved in mastering the cruise space as a B2B seller. One is you need to have knowledge, of course, of the product, the destination, the experience. Two, you need to have access. You need to know where to access the product, how to put together the experience, and so on. And three, you need to have the tools, right? And with AERTiCKET and Get My Cruise coming together for this beautiful product, at least the tools are already in place for enabling the transactions. And then you have people like myself, Nishit, Deepti, and a bunch of others who have joined this call to handhold you through the knowledge process. Cruise sales, and I often say this to partners, it's a bit like playing matchmaker. I think there's a very vast and diverse variety of cruise lines out there. Nishit summarized the categories really beautifully in terms of expedition, small ship, luxury, and large size, mid size, and so on. I'm going to just distill that or qualify that a little bit more as I get into explaining the Bahamas in particular. That when you look at how do you define a large ship or a mid ship or a small ship, and I think it's important to understand if you are new to selling cruises. A large ship is typically something that is more than 3,000 passengers. They're usually massive vessels that have fantastic entertainment on board, that are destinations in themselves, and have the added advantage of taking you to gorgeous destinations around the world as well. The midship category, and this may sound a little counterintuitive to those of you who are new to cruising, is still fairly large size vessels, right? Midship cruising can be anything from, 500, 300, 500, 600, all the way up to 2,500 passengers. So Holland America Line, as Siju mentioned, is largely a mid-sized fleet between 1,500 to 2,500 passengers. They do have some that are on the cusp of mid to large ship. And then there are small ships that are typically anything under 350, 300 passengers, usually around 200 to 250, which is the Windstar Cruises and Pono and even Variety, which are all small ships. And then, of course, Expedition, which in India is largely popular for Arctic and Antarctic. The polar expeditions is where we are seeing exponential growth, which are also, again, available through your air ticket platform. Polar expeditions are really spectacular and require a lot of travel agent handholding as well. But let me step back and come back to the Bahamas. As Siju introduced, it is a popular and easy destination to sell for those who have the US visa. Holland America Line, in addition to having advantages in different parts of the world, definitely has a strong advantage in the Bahamas for the sailings that they offer. So they have sailings ranging from 4-5 days, 4-5 nights, all the way to 14 nights. There are typically three ports that are important in the Bahamas. You have Nassau, which is your bustling cultural hub as a destination. Lots to offer, some shopping, and they have full day ports of port calls over there. You have the Turks and Caicos, which have fantastic world-class diving and beaches. There are some interesting adventure excursions in the Amber Cove region. And then, of course, what Holland America Line offers exclusively and why it's super special for the Bahamas is Half Moon Cay. So Half Moon Cay is their own private island. It's their exclusive private island. They've been taking sailings to Half Moon Cay for decades now. It's a beautiful space where travelers can enjoy water sports, have the safety and comfort and cleanliness of a private beach, with some really amazing family-friendly activities. So it's really an all-rounded comprehensive experience for young travelers, for family travels, for multi-generational tours, and things like that. But also, in addition to the Bahamas, I want to touch upon the small ship cruising space a little bit more as well. Small ship cruising is a different customer segment. And this is where I was talking a bit about the matchmaking role that travel agents play. Customers, when they come to a travel agent and they say, I want to go on a cruise, they've typically, in most cases, heard about someone else's experience or have done some amount of online research and read about something that they feel that they want to replicate or experience themselves as well. And what's important for the travel agent to understand is that while there is a cruise out there for every type of traveler, every type of cruise is not for every traveler. And that's really where the travel agent's role becomes really critical. Because if a travel agent books a cruise, if a customer books a cruise through you, 95% guaranteed they will be happy, provided it's the type of experience they're looking for. The repeat booking rate for cruise sales is significantly higher than land packages. So there is a small window of opportunity that you have as a seller to really understand what type of an experience your traveler is looking for. If they're looking for mega experiences, your Vegas style hotels at sea, or massive entertainment vessels where they're occupied every day and it's multi-generational travel, so they want the kids to be occupied and the seniors to be occupied, etc. A large ship with all the bells and whistles is a fantastic fit. But if your customer is looking for immersive itineraries that allow them access to places that are hard to get to through large ocean vessels, that's when you need to start looking at small ship as a category to sell. And before I close, I'm going to just close with one of the 7 brands that we represent, which is Windstar Cruises, which is a small ship expert. And one of their best sailings, if I had to pick one itinerary from Windstar's portfolio, it would really be the Tahiti and French Polynesia sailings. They operate intimate small ships under 350 guests, where you can spend a week weaving between Moorea, Bora Bora, and the Society Islands. It's a really special sailing that they offer. They're market leaders in the small ship luxury space in French Polynesia, and they have beautiful fly cruise itineraries. that they offer from Los Angeles as well, which are exclusive and include hotel stays. So, as a travel agent, look at understanding what your customer is looking for in terms of both the onboard experience and the destinations that they want to visit. Um, Play a matchmaker, browse around, use the platform that we're hosted by this afternoon, and understand what fits best for their requirement, and then figure out how you can bundle that. And of course, with cruises, once you've sold the experience, you can sit back and relax because the rest of it is all taken care of. You don't have to worry about logistics along the way. So yeah, so that's my little bit on setting sail with profits for the travel industry. I hope it's been useful. Thanks again, Vijay, Siju, and the rest of the team for giving me this opportunity to connect with everyone. Where my organization is Stick Travel Group. We represent 7 different cruises across all these categories. We can be of any help. We're here to help grow the landscape and grow this pie that needs to really explode out of India. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Isha. It was really sweet to listen to everything that you said. Everything that you mentioned about Bahamas, and most importantly, the last part, Windstar sailings of Polynesian Islands. But just to add a little spice to something that you mentioned, initial part of the your address, um, India had, let's say, 400,000 people taking cruise, but then the penetration is just about 0.008% of the total international travelers from India. In 2024, 35 million people took, an international trip outside of India. But then just about 0.001% have gone ahead with a cruise, and that's a massive opportunity because if you look at the matured markets like US or most of the countries in Europe, this is almost like 12 to 15%. And that's exactly the spread that we have. And we probably can fast track it, by the way travel agents are getting into this space faster. Because you touch the customer's
Absolutely.
fate and then, you can educate them, they can start booking cruises. And we have that 15% opportunity that's lying ahead of us. Maybe in the next 5 years, we can push that. Isha,
Absolutely.
thanks
And
once
if I
again.
may just,
Yeah,
sure,
please.
sure. No, if I may just add to that, that 400,000, 350,000 number that you're referring to, um, if you take Cordelia and Stardream and so let's say the large ship category, let me not break it down to the individual brands, but if you just take the large ship category and regional cruising, domestic and regional cruising out of that pie, then we're down to a much smaller circle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think between Nishit, Deepti, myself, some of us who are also selling small ship luxury expedition, which is a much smaller pie, we're really grateful for partners like yourselves because we need to collaborate more and come together to grow this landscape. And which is why we are all here to empower travel agents and
Yeah.
help them sell these different categories. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Isha. Thank you so much for that. So we have the next destination, which is Caribbeans. We can call Caribbeans as probably a twin sister, Caribbean and Bahamas together. Most of us would probably not even sort of realize the difference between both of these because they are so close geographically and they're also very close culturally. But then there's so much to sort of experience when it comes to Caribbean assets, separately. There are a good bunch of cruise options out there. Again, it's evergreen throughout the year. It'll sell. And we have someone very special again. I keep telling this to Deepti. She's probably the sweetest person I've met in the space of cruises. She's the country head and country head of Discover the World and also representing Carnival Cruise, Nico, AMA Waterways, Ocean Wide, and Windstar. I would request Deepti to share her insights of the experience that she had in the space, a little bit focusing on Carnival and Caribbean, plus anything else that she thinks relevant for us to listen to. Deepti, please.
Thank you so much, and good evening, everybody.
Deepti,
First of
sorry,
all,
your
I
voice
would
is a little low. Maybe audio has to be a little better.
Is it better? Is it much better?
Slightly better, but I think it's quite weak. Maybe you have to get a little closer to the microphone.
I'm going to try my best. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for getting us all on this platform. I think I really want to congratulate, and I think this journey is just going to be onwards and upwards from here. So, guys, congratulations for getting all of us together. And this is really an exciting phase in the cruising part, wherein comes from India. When we look at the cruise liners that Discover the World India represents currently, which is Carnival Cruise Lines, Nico Cruises, Emma, Ocean Wide, each one of them aligns beautifully when it comes to the specific and a rapidly growing Indian travelers segmentation that we are talking about. If I have to first start with Carnival, we call it as a fun ship. We have approximately 29 fun ship, and we are all ready to welcome five new ships up till 2033. So we are very excited for the journey which is coming ahead. But today I'm going to be focusing on Caribbean, as Siju mentioned. Caribbean and Bahamas is like sisters. We really can't really bifurcate so much. Okay. When your client is thinking about turquoise water, white lands, vibrant island, effortless relaxation, Caribbean and Bahamas, that comes to your mind for the first time. Okay. And Carnival's strongest presence from major USA ports, which are nearly 12 to 13, be it West Coast or East Coast, okay, makes it really accessible for the Indian travelers to combine a US holiday with a cruise. I keep on telling at this stage that, we are still evolving. And I believe that we can definitely make a cruise as a part of the holiday until we are graduating ourselves towards making cruise as a holiday, so that's not too far. And for Indian families, I think that's the perfect format, once boarding, multiple islands, no check-in, check-outs, entertainment for all generation, I would say. The variety of dining which every cruise liner offers, including the Indian vegetarian friendly options, the cruise actually transforms what otherwise would have been a very complex multi-island holiday into a seamless value added experience, I believe. And because Caribbean is operated year-round destination, right? The agents have the flexibility. You guys have the flexibility of pricing and positioning it based on the client's requirement. There are so many other destinations which Carnival operates are year-round, like Mexico, Bahamas, and of course we have seasonal to Alaska, Hawaii, and Mediterranean regions. When it comes to Caribbean, it's bifurcated into Eastern, Western, and the Southern Caribbeans. All are very exclusive, niche, be it Eastern, when we go to the Grand Turk, it's amazing. Western Caribbean, Grand Cayman, we are looking at, and the Southern Caribbean, Aruba, which is the most popular right now, and Bonaire. These are the very, very niche destinations which we are not going to explore unless we're going to go on a cruise. Well, if I think Nishit and Isha very clearly mentioned, where they categorize ships into ocean liners, small ships, and everything. So when I come to Nico Cruises or river cruising concept, let me start with the river cruising. This brand actually resonates, all the river cruising strongly for the repeated customer when they are planning to go to Mediterranean or European countries, where many clients have already done the classic, I would say, the European coach tour, and now they are ready to, or they are kind of willing to explore more in depth the culture, tradition of the small cities within Europe, which they would not have done via land or would have been really challenging for them to do via land. So coming to the Nico Cruises, which really is a German brand, and it offers you a very exclusive short river cruising experience, which could be like a 4-nighter, 5-nighter. Ideally, river cruising is a 7-nighter concept, but with Nico, we can definitely delve into a shorter itinerary, which gives you a flavor of what river cruising is all about. When it comes to Emma, we address if I have to say, the growing Indian luxury segment. Today's luxury segment is a experiential led kind of a category. They value personalized services, excursions, wellness, and fine dining, and exclusivity is what something that they really thrive on. So river cruising offers all that and more. I would say that we are seeing a very very strong demand for celebration travel, like milestone or birthday celebrations, anniversary, And even now, the river cruising is getting, the corporates are considering it. So corporate groups where they want an exclusivity, lot of kind of, customization. That's pretty much possible when it comes to a river cruising concept as well. And I think if when it comes to the expeditions, people are now also very, very keen on the polar and polar region, so Arctic and Antarctic to be precise. So with ocean wide, we definitely have that experience that can be. So if a person is already graduated from an, I would say from an ocean liner to a river cruising and then small ships exclusive in the ocean, I think the next level that it is going through is the polar region. Mm. And I completely believe that we are at the infectious point right now where cruising, I would say cruise penetration in India is still relatively low. When Siju mentioned that, yes, it's comparatively very low when it's compared to the global markets. Well, but awareness is definitely increasing. Social media is driving aspirations. Longer destinations are also becoming more common, popular when it comes to the cruising, multi-generation holidays. And the most important thing is Indian travelers are now shifting from destination collections to the experience seeking. I think here the travel partners play a very vital role. I believe that, if we position it right, we educate consistently and sell with confidence, I'm sure everybody believes that cruising can easily go beyond a very strong growth engine for an Indian outbound travel market. So I think, we are all here as the cruise representatives. We really enjoy and we really like to talk more and more, but I think we have a time constraint. But we are all going to be around. If there's anything, we are more than happy to help. All of us have been really passionate about the cruising sector, and we would like to collaborate even further and see how we can grow this pie together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dipti. Thanks for all the insights that you shared, and very sort of infectious to see the kind of passion that you have for the space. Thank you so much for the time that you spent. Please be around. Yeah, so we have seen Alaska, Bahamas, and Caribbean. Now, probably the next most amazing destination for an Indian, sailor could be Eastern Mediterranean, which is fundamentally Greece, Turkey, and parts of Croatia. Sailing starting from Rome and Venice, Bari in Italy, Athens, and one of the most famous cruise lines out there, one of the native, in their words, the classic Italian hospitality is what you can expect there, and that is Costa Cruises. And as you see on screen, there are other cruise lines as well, but Costa is one of the most active and very famous ones, having sailings from Rome, sailings from Venice. And you can see here, on the screen, you can see the sailings from Athens, most importantly. It goes to some of those most exotic places in Greece, touching Turkey and Istanbul, Santorini, Mykonos, and so on and so forth. I would request Nalini from Lotus Destinations, who is representing Costa Cruise and MSC Cruise in India, along with a couple of more other cruise lines. Nalini, in true sense, is a veteran with very deep experience in terms of her exposure and the experience in the space of cruise. Nalini, over to you. Please enlighten us about the space of cruises largely, but specifically a few words on Costa and Eastern Mediterranean experiences that you think travel agents in India could position and promote among their customers. Nalini, over to you.
Thank you, everybody. Firstly, well done, Vijay, Siju. It's nice to see that you're enabling the industry through technology and making it easy for people to be able to sell cruises. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, very well. All clear. Very
Great.
audible. Thank you.
Okay, great. So in the true sense, when you talked about a CRS for cruise liners, it truly is going to be that game changer. If you remember, Vijay, you were also involved with some element of technology with Galileo during the time the CRS happened for airlines in the 90s. And overnight, you had this huge number of travel agents who could start now servicing people for air travel. And that's what's going to happen in the cruise industry as well, because you're actually equipping them with a tool to be able to reach out to not only limited number of cruise liners who are represented who have representation in India, but to the whole wide world. So while you will be able to do that, the CRS, I'm sure agents themselves have got interested largely because the traveler is now asking for cruise liners. So when I started off with cruises, which was when I set up my company about 12, 13 years ago, I was basically an airline person and maybe to some extent sold a destination called South Africa. But from a cruise perspective, like the earlier speakers said, Nishit, Isha, Deepti, it's such a raw market at that time, 12, 13 years ago. And now to see the change which has happened, where I feel each one of us has contributed to that change, where people today are looking at cruises very differently only because people have come back with great word of mouth. Of course, travel agents also get a good margin, but more importantly, you've got a satisfied client. We have had situations where agents who have done GIT summer packages, they started off suggested to them about 7, 8 years ago that why don't you add a week of a cruise holiday on Costa, and in a way of giving them four or more, five more European countries to include in the itinerary. And to this day, those numbers have only grown year on year. And very often when I ask for feedback from their customers, they come back saying the cruise portion was the most comfortable. So in that sense, I feel we are actually adding joy to the traveler. So all of us in our space, I think the travel agent especially, who recommends a cruise holiday to a customer makes a difference to his holiday. But more importantly, I would agree to some extent, even with Isha, Nishit, and of course also Deepti, where while you can give them all the agent can have all the knowledge, have the access, and also have the tools the tools that you're offering. Most important is the passion with which you're selling it. When you're doing the matchmake, also, are you selling it from a perspective of saying, telling the customer, I care for what you want and I'm going to make it happen. So in that sense, I feel that that element of passion is very important to sell a cruise experience. It's just not a transaction. You live and feel that moment. And that's why I think, in a way, I'm very grateful that I'm in the space of selling cruises only because I genuinely enjoy to see the kind of joy that we have brought to people in terms of not only FIT clients or groups, but also MICE clients. I've had some corporates coming back with their clients saying, we did not know something so magical was possible. So in that sense, I think Vijay, Seju, I think you're doing a great job with your automated tool. And I'm sure this step is going to help a lot of people to, in a way, exponentially grow their ability to sell a cruise or suggest a cruise option to a client. Coming to Costa, Costa is with whom we started our relationship in the cruise industry about 13 years ago. They have, like Nishit has 8 ships in North America, in the Alaska. Costa, MSC both have their biggest strength or their biggest market share comes from the European itineraries, which sail from different parts of Europe, be it Rome, like we mentioned, Vijay, we have from Rome, from uh, Athens, you have it from Savona, you have also from Istanbul. You have a lot of ports within Europe where we have our itineraries commence. The one, if I have to focus on the one which we have in East Europe, that is our Venice itineraries, they're extremely popular because the itinerary per se is very, very exciting because you have Santorini, Mykonos, you have Athens and Izmir, you have Istanbul. You don't need an Istanbul visa when you board these kind of options from Athens. More importantly, you have direct flights now. Into Athens. Very recently, I think Indigo introduced direct flights into Athens. So you have air connectivity in place. You also have obviously uh, the visa only you need a multiple entry visa only for Greece. You don't need one for Turkey. And you also have a mix of very iconic ports and places where people would not have gone by. It would be difficult to go by road or by air. Costa, or for that matter, like I said, Naples, Ancona, all these various places which essentially are difficult places to reach by air or by road. So the ship takes you there. You don't have to unpack. You're just in one place and you go there for the day, explore the, experience the flavor of that place, particular port. And in the true sense, I think we have opened the gateway to a lot of Indians to experience this. But coming back to a favorite discussion point of mine is, in the true sense, while numbers from India don't look great, it's largely because we don't have a great domestic number. We do, Costa does have has had the privilege of bringing ships into India, and now with Cordelia doing sailings from India, that also would help in increasing international numbers, because once you get customers to experience a cruise, that's when he wants to now move out into Dubai or move out into some European points or US, or even for that matter, of course, they always went to Singapore because it was an easy port to access or to reach. But I feel that as the domestic numbers grow, so will the interest for Indians move to international points, largely because more and more people now are looking for unique experiences, be it in the Antarctica, or be it in the Arctic Circle, or be it in different parts of various, itineraries that we have. So I'm happy that you have a portal, and you have the ability to get people to reach out to all the different options which are available. And that itself gives me a feeling of being empowered myself. Forget a travel agent. I myself feel empowered. And when I think Isha or Dipti, both of them were talking about some interesting itineraries. Of course, Isha was talking about Windstar. I said maybe I myself should be able to experience it. So in that sense, I think what are we doing? We're adding to the aspiration of people. We're adding to people's ability to enjoy the various options that cruise industry has. So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to speak about cruises. But I think this is a great option for MICE groups, for GIT groups, for individual families. You can't have a better holiday experience than a cruise. So I'm happy to be associated not only with the cruise industry, but also with people like yourselves. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Seju. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nalini ma'am. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much for sharing the insights, and request you to be around, not just now, but then as much as you can with us. Kindly support us, kindly be around, guide us in terms of how to navigate through the whole process in making sure that we scale from where we are right now to, let's say, 1000x over the next couple of years' time. Look forward to see you
It'll
around.
be
Thank
my
you, ma'am.
pleasure completely.
Thank
Thank you. It'll be my pleasure.
Now we have the next twin destinations, I would say. Next to Eastern Mediterranean, there is this Western Mediterranean. It's just a geographical, nomenclature that we have, but it's essentially the Spain, France, and Italy part of it. People call it as French or Italian Riviera, which comprises Western Mediterranean. Sailing starting from Barcelona to Rome, or back from Rome to Barcelona, or back to Rome itself, covering some of those most amazing, beautiful, exotic, coastal cities or culturally rich cities in the Spanish, Italian, and France coastal regions. MSC Cruise is very famous brand out there. Again, one of the native cruise brands in Europe. The name itself starts with Mediterranean. It's Mediterranean Shipping Company. That's it's an abbreviation of that, but then people know by the name MSC Cruise. And we have someone very special who can speak about MSC Cruise and also about, Western Mediterranean in detail, plus a little bit more insights into other cruise lines that, Lena is very, very deeply involved with. So we have Lena, who is the business head of Sharaf Travel, a part of Sharaf DXP Group in Dubai. They represent MSC, Costa, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, and Silver Seas. Lena, please.
Yes, thank you so much. First of all, thank you, our team and all involved who worked to make this launch happen today. And many congratulations on this wonderful platform launch. It's going to be an additional value to not just travel agents, but to us too. So these marketplaces for cruises are geared towards getting our cruise industry and at a higher growth. And we are insisting that cruising should not be no more considered as an option, but a must. So we at Sharaf Travel India, encompassing of our strength with MSC Cruises for last 15 years, and that relation that has been built through years as we see ourselves as a record value partner when it comes to this brand of MSC. Since then, we've grown too. We've added cruise liners like Costa Cruises. Then for premiumness, we've added Celebrity and Expedition Style as Silver Seas. So as this market grows, our strength to curate gets noted. How? As we also have offerings to add a slice of cruise protection plan. This cruise protection plan will match to a must-do vacation to must have a secure cruise vacation too. So this experience is a must, which is a cruising option, and securing it with a cruise protection plan. My next point will be why are we talking about these represented cruise lines and the relevance and the destinations for the Indian market. So let me highlight MSC and Costa Cruises as our core brands that we are in today for. Both the brands already have their ships homeported in Asia too. For example, MSC's Bellissima homeports for a longer time in Tokyo, a country like Japan, which is gaining so much popularity, while Costa's Serena sails out of Keelung, taking in Japan for a round trip. This is surely the catch point for Indian travelers in case if they're looking to cruise closer country. Next up, which is interesting, is Dubai is becoming a new hub for cruising, and we see a strong demand rising year on year. Both these brands, that's MSC and Costa, will call at Emirates Water this season, which is 2026-2027, with such phenomenal ships that this opportunity we should tap on the most. Always and naturally, Europe still holds the charm. The nature, the premium value to the guests. So cruising on any of our ships in Med, which Siju was talking about, be it in East, which is Greece and Turkey Islands, and West Med with Spain, Italy, or France, those destinations are wondrous and ships will always be a delight. Alaska on MSC will be a new face on the block, and we are excited to engage with you all through AERTiCKET platform. Oh, don't forget the grandeur of Northern Europe, as we can sail from Germany, or we can sail on Costa Diadema, or even on MSC from Copenhagen, on MSC's stunning ship, which is Euribia. We also have ships going from Southampton in case, and this feel of cruising is unmatched. So how we going to be seeing Indian cruise market evolving in 3 to 5 years, or what are the advantages to the agents like all of us, right? Indian cruising market is in a grip of social media, and that takes on a high, wherein cruise liners are doing all and making sure that they are doing the mark, attracting the clientele, and not just the younger clientele, but multi-generational demographic onto our cruise ships. As travel agents, as we are getting more hang of the wonderful destinations which at times only cruises will offer, their support is constantly going to be dependent on. Expedition seems to be taking a big leap here and encouraging to have that bucket list ticked off now than later. Agents' advantage of commanding a higher commission and additionally to learning the value add or potential upgrades anyways leads to a profit jump. So as Siju was also mentioning early, or the fact that we have a percentage from 10 to 15 ranging on for cruise commissions itself should say a lot. So how selling cruises can be simpler and less cluttered in comparison to your typical traditional holiday packages. All we need to know is, yes, it's simpler than packages. One booking covers all the aspects, including if shore excursions are also booked from the ship side. Of course, your accommodations, meals, no hotel juggling, so no transfer delays. This definitely comes to less agent effort and almost no complaints. And believe me, cruise lines depend heavily on repeat guests, and that's the truth. So yes, that was from the brands MSC and Costa that we officially partnered with in India, leaving you all with one line: once a cruiser, always a cruiser. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Lena. Once a cruiser, you're an evergreen cruiser. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yes, the last destination that we have is one of the closest destinations to India as a geography. It's Singapore. Also, the one place where to 20 to 30% of Indians are traveling. And that's also probably one of the first destinations that as a cruiser you would probably experiment. And, if you take the statistics of 2025, 2024, 27% of the total population who have been on a cruise have headed to Singapore. And there are really amazing 3 brands out there. We have Royal Caribbean, we have Star Dream, formerly, Resorts World, and we also have Disney, which is launched just about a year ago. You can see the names of those brands here. There are other cruise lines as well coming in there, but it's not very frequent. Royal Caribbean is one brand which has every year, like a guest, it comes and then, gives a magical experience to the guests out there. It was Anthem of Seas last year, and this year it's Ovation of Sea. And in 2026 November, it'll be Navigator of the Seas. We have someone who's an expert when it comes to everything in cruise, specifically on Royal Caribbean. Anoop has been part of Royal Caribbean for a while right now. He has touched the customer mindshare, and he's a senior manager, business development, part of Tyrant Travel Marketing, representing Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Silver Sea, and Asamara. Anoop, over to you. Please share the insights that you have for us, the travel agents fraternity today.
Thank you, Siju. First of all, many congratulations to AERTiCKET team and the Get My Cruise to bringing a platform which is going to be a game changer for the travel fraternity. The reason I'm saying this because we can see an increase demand. I was part of a Claire training today in the morning. There was a webinar, and we see that the cruising is growing at a pace which is exponential. And we are seeing that there is more and more passengers or clients are choosing cruising as their favorite holiday experience. And what we have seen is more than 50% of our customers are repeated customers, which means once a cruiser, as Lena said, is always a cruiser. So the once a cruiser, you are actually getting a clientele which is going to repeatedly travel with you, because the kind of experiences and the service levels cruise lines are bringing is phenomenal. Coming to the brands which we are proud to exclusively represent in India. A few of the most popular cruise lines: Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Silver Sea, and Azamara. And here itself, there is a lot of variety what we are offering, bringing into the table here. From one of the most popular cruise line, Royal Caribbean, which is a destination itself, where people are not even looking at where the ship is sailing, they are looking at the ship, because that ship is a destination itself. Bringing the largest and the most innovative cruise lines in the world. We have launched Icon of the Seas 2 years back, followed by Star of the Seas, which is jointly the largest cruise ships in the world. We're also launching new ships now. New Icon ships are in the pipeline. And this year we will be having Legend of the Seas, which is going to be the 3rd Icon class ship, which will be based out of Europe, and it will be doing a Western Mediterranean itinerary from Barcelona and also from Rome. So this gives, and whenever we have a new ship coming in, we have seen an increasing demand in passengers because they want to get on a ship, which is something which they have never imagined, that a ship can offer so much of value and offerings. So we call it as the family time of a lifetime. That's the kind of experience the brand like Royal Caribbean is bringing. And coming to Celebrity, it's a premium cruising offering. We have launched the Celebrity XL last year, which is also going to do Europe. So when you look at Europe, we got some of the finest ships which will be based this year in Europe, and it will be doing the Mediterranean sailings. So Celebrity offers a premium experience. We cover across the world, from Europe to Alaska to Australia and New Zealand, and we also have sailings in Japan, and some of them even touches India. It's part of their long sailings. Coming to my 4th brand, which is Silver Sea, which is a premium, ultra luxury, small boutique experiences. Isha has explained about the cruising, different size. So Silver Sea fit into the ultra luxury space. And interestingly, from the time we started pushing and promoting Silver Sea, we see an increasing demand in expedition cruises in India. And then, of course, Antarctica as a destination, it started doing extremely well. And then Silver Sea offers one of the best cruises over there. And then coming to Azamara, which is a small boutique cruises, operate their one country intensive voyages within Europe. Now, Singapore is a destination which is a very popular destination for all of us from here because it's the nearest destination. And what we have seen, as you mentioned, we position one of our finest ships in Singapore. What we see is it's a very 3-nighter or a 4-nighter, which is an easy product for everyone to sell it. So we are looking at doing a 3-nighter, which is going from Singapore to Penang and back, or a Singapore, Penang, Phuket and back. And in the coming season, where we'll be restarting our sailings in Singapore in Navigator of the Seas, we'll also would be having a sailing which is also touching Langkawi. Interestingly, what we see in Singapore sailing, because it's a favorite destination for everyone. So this season, we had a good demand from families, which is Singapore as a family destination itself. We also see a lot of movement for corporate travel, because I think cruising is increasingly the best choice for your corporate travel. So a lot of demand from the corporate segment as well. And we also see a lot of movement for people who want to celebrate their milestones on a cruise ship, because I think that is the best place for that. Everything is taken care once your guests are on board. So we see increasingly people want to celebrate their anniversaries or birthdays on the cruise ship. And again, in Singapore, we had all these combinations, in the past too. So when you're looking at as a travel fortnightly, this is a good opportunity for you to explore, because there's one platform which is having all these products in one, in under one roof, one under umbrella. And now you also know that there is increasingly people are looking at online platforms and comparing the rates. So it is so important that you are able to get the real-time information about different cruise lines in your place, so that you're able to give that information on time to the customers, because the buying behavior of the customers are changing very rapidly. So this platform is going to help you to sell cruises much easier. And as it is, cruising is a must. If you ask me, the most easiest product to sell is cruises, because we plan well in advance, everything, itinerary is fixed, and your departure dates are fixed, the pricing is available, and it's a beautiful product to look at. So people who are not selling cruises, I think this is a time where you can start looking at cruising as a product, because whether you like or not, cruising is definitely, people are preferring cruises, and there's a huge opportunity for all of you. And with that, I conclude, and many congratulations once again, and I wish the team all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anu, for the time that you spent. Please be around, and we look forward to have you with us as we ride through this journey. Thank you so much again. I'm back here now, probably about 5 to 7 minutes of time that we'll spend in going a little deep into the product of AERTiCKET when it comes to cruise booking. So you were here, like I said, you can look at the destinations here. There are, tens of them. You can see the number of sailings in each of those destinations here, and the ports here, the duration of the trip, and the cruise line names, and the ship name here. Let's say I select one of them. Let's say I want to go to Singapore, and I took it like Singapore anytime, the next 1 year time, traveling as a family of 2. You get all of these sailings. You can see Resort World Genting sailings. You can see Royal Caribbean. You can see Disney. And there are some other sailings as well where the ports are part of their longer itineraries. But let's look at one of these ships, one of these sailings. Let's look at Royal Caribbean, Navigator of the Seas, 9th November sailing. Let's say we go deep into it. You have this detailed, description about the itinerary. 3 nights Penang cruise, Navigator of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, starting from 9th of November, ending on 12th, 3 nights. It starts from Singapore, goes to Penang, and comes back to Singapore. It's one of the lightest itineraries that you can imagine. Because Singapore is a small destination, average ticket size would be around $1,500. Typically, families take it. They go board a cruise from Singapore, go to Penang. Sometimes they go to Phuket and come back. There are sailings starting from 1 night, but then typically people take 3 to 4 nights. Here you can see the list of dates. List of dates for which the sailing is there. It's 9th of November, 16th of November, 24th of November, and so on and so forth. You can choose a date and then see the list of rooms. There are so many room types available, but then broadly, it's inside room, outside room, balcony, and suite. In the increasing order of price and the experience. Inside room is fundamentally the room that's inside the ship, meaning can't see anything outside of it. Ocean view room will have a window, a small porthole, and the balcony room will have a decent large balcony. You can see the descriptions here. For every room, when you land here, you can see what exactly this room is all about. What do you get there? What's the space and which all decks it's available? What is the nature of bedding? Now you can also see something like, different options in terms of additions that you may want to add. Is it a refundable fare? Is it non-refundable fare? In the case of MSC Cruise and Costa Cruise and so on and so forth, you can even add the beverages packages, the alcohol beverages packages, or maybe the Wi-Fi packages. In NCL, you can add the shore excursions and so on and so forth. Let's say I took one of these room types. You click on select button, you get this detailed view in terms of what is this, room type all about and which all decks it's available. This particular room, it's interior room 4V. That's a category code. This room is available on deck 3, deck 9, deck 8, 7, and 6. If I change it to deck 8, you can see the number of rooms available there. You can see a lot more rooms. There are almost like 20, 25 rooms, 20, 18, 20 rooms available. You can see the room number, 8473 is the room number. And click on select, you select that room and move on to the next page. But here you have this right side that shows the deck layout. You can see the deck layout with the cabin numbers. And why is it important? A customer may walk in and then ask you to give a room that's got a best view, not really the ports, but I want to see the ocean. Then you may want to select this side of it. So this is the ocean side and this is the port side. The customer may say that I want it on deck 8, where it's not really too high, not too low. It's somewhere in the middle, and also the midship. Then you know that you have to select a room somewhere in the middle, maybe close to a lift, which could be 8595. So that decision is something that you take by knowing the location of your room, and that you can do by looking at these deck layouts and the ship layouts out here. Let's assume for the time being, I'm taking 8475 or any room out here in this list. You go to the deck 6 and you can see different other room types. And then if I take one of them, I get this detailed trip summary. We can call it as a trip summary because it summarizes everything that we've done till date, where it has the cruise details, it has the date of travel, the place you depart from, the name of the ship and the brand of the ship. It has the cabin information, the room type, and the category code. I've taken a royal suite, which is a 1-bedroom suite. It's 1,260 square feet, and the room number is 1620. You have the passenger information that you can fill in, the name, the first name, last name, and the age, and you can choose a dining time. There are multiple slots for that. Whatever you feed in here is getting passed to the API, goes to the cruise line, and the guest will be served with the dinner based on their preferences that's given here. And the most important here is a payment summary. There is this cruise charge, which is the consolidated total, which includes the base cruise fare, the port charges, the taxes, and something called, NCCF in some cases. But then, there is other component called gratuity, which is not included here. But you can always include it, or you can leave the option to the customer to pay on board while they check in. And the total comes to 4450 in terms of dollar value. And then there is this most important amount called 415, which is your commission. So when you sell a cruise of $4,450, you earn a commission of $415, and you pay AERTiCKET this amount deducted from the total, which means 4035. In INR value, it's 3.75 lakhs. So this is the net amount that you would be paying to AERTiCKET, and you can sell the cruise. You can sell this cabin to your customer ideally up to 4450. So this amount that is deducted here is your commission, but then you can sell it at any price, ideally up to 4450 or even more if you think it's okay to sell that way. Now, coming down, you have this generate PDF option. It's one of the really amazing feature that you have, where everything that is shown here can be downloaded. But if you want to hide your commission, you can do that here and then generate it. You can send it across to your customers and they can review it and come back to you and say that I'm good with this cruise and let me book it. And when they're ready to book it, click on this proceed button and fill in the information and then click on the proceed button. The booking is done. Booking has got two parts to it. There is an offline process, there's an online process. In some of the cruises, for example, Royal Caribbean, you can book it online, meaning the booking goes and hits the cruise lines directly with instant booking feature. But there are other cruise lines where it's not feasible, meaning there is an offline blocking and subsequent offline payments and stuff like that, which the ops team of AERTiCKET will be taking care. You don't have to worry about it. You'll be keep posted about the progress on your email, when you get in touch with us or on the call that you call us. Here you have the payment terms. We collect the payment in 3 tranches, 10, 30, and 60. Mostly the 60% is collected 95 to 65 days before the date of travel. So you have a lot of time to collect the payment from the customer, assuming that generally cruises are booked 6 months to 9 months in advance. Cancellation terms are really friendly when it compared to, let's say, even hotels, and definitely more than the flights. A good majority of the cruise lines will refund pretty much everything except the initial deposit. Royal Caribbean, for example, for Singapore sailings, they keep $150 with them. If not, the rest everything is refunded to them. MSC Cruise, for example, they just keep $50 for most of the sailings, and the rest can be paid 65 days before the date of travel. And you can get full refund except this $50 per person up to 65, 70 days of the travel. Again, you have the summary of the deck, summary of the cabin here, and of course, this day-wise itinerary, which is very important for the customer to know because they want to know what time I have to reach the cruise port and what time it reaches different other ports. What are the other places I'll be taken to? In this case, it's Penang alone, but in other cases, let's say 7 nights itineraries, it can be 4 to 5 cities, along with some cruising in the sea during the night and sometimes during day. You have a map here, and below that you have some inclusions, exclusions. Typically, in most of the cruises, the gratuities will not be included. That can be paid on board. Some information about the ship, when was it built, how many people are accommodated, how many number of decks, total number of cabins, and so on and so forth. That's quickly the product overview of AERTiCKET Cruises. We look forward to hear from each of you. Come back to us with your queries. You can reach out to us on an email and the phone number. We'll give more details of that in the next few seconds. At some point in time, or the next 1 to 2 weeks time, we would look forward to see you using the product, creating that seamlessness when it comes to booking a cruise that you have when it comes to flights and hotels. Try and book the cruise, discover, plan, and book your cruises with the same ease and convenience that you have right now to book a flight that you probably didn't have, let's say, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. We are actually at the cusp of a massive inflection point, like one of our speakers said, that probably over the next 5 years' time, we can see an exponential growth happening in the space of cruises in India. And travel agent community is going to drive it, is what I feel. Not just drive it, it's actually going to sail along with it because cruises are so complex that it cannot be solved fully online. That's not a theory. I think it's more of a law, like the Newton's first law of mechanics. It's going to be difficult for the end users to discover things and book it completely online. So they're going to come back to you. It's very important for you to get a feel of what cruises right away so that you can start getting those captive audience right away and make sure that they stay loyal to you. Make sure that you're equipped, make sure that you're sophisticated enough to learn things, learn destinations, and learn the tool, learn the cruises, learn the different room types, learn the different nuances about how to select the room type and the various aspects of dining and stuff like that so that you can sell it effectively. All the best for all your revenue generation milestones that you have, including cruise for the next 1 to 2 years of time. Thank you so much for listening. I'll pass on to Jaswin. Jaswin, thank you. Please take over.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shiju, for that comprehensive demonstration. And a huge thank you to all our cruise line partners for joining us today. So before we move to Q&A session, let me just quickly highlight our key features and support resources available. So our main key feature is that we have access to more than 30 plus cruise lines, and we have more than 25,000 sailings annually. We have a very comprehensive search filter, like you can filter it according to destination, date, price, and cruise line. And also we have a detailed information itinerary where complete itineraries, cabin details, deck plans, and amenities, everything is available for you. And we also have a 24/7 support system dedicated to assist you at any point of time. So for support, please mail to cruise@airticket.in. And finally, you can log in and access all our products at cockpit.airticket.in, which gives you access to cruises, flights, and visas. So next time when you book cruises, if you are thinking, oh, where I can get visas or flights, you can just get everything in one platform. That's known as Cockpit. So now it's the most important part for you, your questions. So we have Mr. Vijay sir and our entire team here to answer all your queries. So please feel free to type your questions in the chat box and we'll address them one by one. So let's get started with the Q&A.
I thought there's already some questions. Which is the best cruise for Italy for 7 days? I thought that was one.
I can probably take that question, Vijay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. I think it'll be unfair to just pick one ship or one cruise line out there for Italy. But I think I would take the freedom to say that at least I have to pick three names, Of course, if you want to have that native, authentic European experience, both in terms of hospitality and in terms of experience on board and off board, it could be MSC and Costa. These two have got really large number of sailings, not just during the peak season, that is April to September, but also across, Novembers and Decembers and Jans, which is freezing cold, but then they still have the sailings, including Italian and Spanish and, France coastal areas. But in addition to that, you have another two more, maybe three more really good experiences that can be there for Italy. Italy and Eastern and Western Mediterranean will include Royal Caribbean ships and sometimes Celebrity and Princess Cruise, and of course, Norwegian Cruise Line. These are the names I could recollect when it comes to Italy, Spain, and France, and Greece, Turkey geographies when it comes to sailing. The port where you can sail would be Rome. There are sailings from Venice as well, but Rome would be one of the most famous ports for most of the good sailings.
Thank you. Are there more questions? Oh, as we plan seasonal tours, so how can we book a cruise line based on different seasons?
Yeah. So, there can be a larger conversation around it, but then just to keep it as concise as possible, a couple of geographies are year-round. You can travel anytime throughout the year. One could be Singapore. Not all the cruise lines are there throughout the year, but then, the Star Dream and Disney cruises sail throughout the year in Singapore. Bahamas and Caribbean, they have sailings throughout the year. Barcelona and Rome sailings in Europe throughout the year, but then people prefer to travel between April and September. When it comes to Alaska, it's between May and April. When it comes to Norway and Iceland, it's again May to September. When it comes to Dubai, it's mostly between November to Feb. And when it comes to Australia, it's towards the end of the year, November to Feb, March. This is broadly the split that we can see. And it's also matching with, let's say, the summer winter transition that we have. But yeah, this is broadly the number. But then we can add on to it with multiple more destinations. But yeah, broadly, this is what we have seen when it comes to Indian travelers going out of India for the cruises.
Is there any cruise for Alaska around 7 nights from USA for which Canada visa is not required?
Unfortunately, no. When you want to travel to Alaska, it's mandatory to have Canadian visa because unfortunately, Alaska cruises have to pass through the Canadian international waters, meaning it's mandatory to have Canadian visa as well. And that's a challenge because it takes 80 to 120 days right now to get a Canadian visa approved. But the good thing is that if you get it approved, it's valid for 10 years. So, it's worth an investment if you can plan in advance. But it's mandatory to have both the visas.
Does the INR amount change as per the ROE of the day, or the prices shown are fixed?
Yeah, that's a very important question, in fact. So let's say if you book a cruise today, and let's assume that the price of that cruise is $2,000. You agree to buy at $2,000 and the dollar value remains same. It won't change regardless of the sailing date. Let's say the sailing is after 1 year. The sailing will happen after 1 year, but then you will pay only $2,000 if you transact in dollars. But then the INR value will change based on the date of payment. So let's say, for example, today you pay, it's 90 rupees per dollar. You pay the advance for that ROI, but then, after 6 months, if it's dropped to 80, the amount that you pay would be lesser. And on the contrary, it's actually increased. You will actually pay on the high side. Yeah. So the INR value will change. And in fact, it changes on AERTiCKET website on a very dynamic way based on the current online exchange rate. So it can be 90 right now. It can be 91.5 after, let's say, 4 hours. So it changes dynamically.
Now, I don't think we have any more questions. Shiju, I think you did a good job with the product demonstration.
Thank you so much, Vijay. We do nothing but cruises, right? So we have been doing this for the last 2 years, building this product. So
yeah, I mean,
you asked me about the politics of North America, the politics of India. I think I'll probably have nothing to speak. I'll be stumped. But yeah, cruise, we breathe it right now. So thank you.
Yeah, no, hey, we've got more questions. If we book on the portal, can payment be made offline?
If the definition of offline is equal to depositing in the bank, I would say it's borderline feasibility. It's yes. But on AERTiCKET, there is this wallet which can be used, meaning all the agents who are actually signing up on wallet on AERTiCKET has got some access to some limit of access to the AERTiCKET wallet, meaning even if you do not want to pay using your credit card and all of that, you can still have other options to collect the payment. So it's very payment friendly platform, in every possible way that way, if you see. But yeah, very important for you to keep in mind. There is this massive tax liability, not in terms of the value of the tax, but in terms of the compliance. There is this 5% TCS that's applicable for all the payments that you collect. It's refundable to the customer, but you have to collect it. 5% right now, but revised to 2% starting from 1st of April. But it's not really the value of the payment, but it's about the compliance and the documentation. It's very important to collect it because there's no way skipping it, because there are income tax department queries which might come to you. So the payments have to be ideally online through the bank, at least through the bank. So other payments will actually have trouble because it's connected to your PAN number.
Cruise departure from Athens, do they need other country visa, which is non-Schengen?
Of course, if you're actually visiting, let's say Turkey, Istanbul or Costa, you will need a Turkish visa. But then if you have a Schengen visa, Turkish visa is a cakewalk. It's an e-visa, so you don't have to struggle much about it. But let's assume that you have an Athens sailing that's going to geographies other than Schengen and Turkey. Then I think you'll have to apply for the other visas. Rarely you have any sailings from Athens which are actually going to, let's say, the South African or down Mediterranean region. So I don't think that complexity is going to be a practical situation for you.
Okay. We are selling Indian cultural and safari tours to Germans. Could we promote the cruise tour amongst our German travelers? I think they're talking about inbound. Sorry, I joined in late. Bikram. I think there are a couple of options in India.
Yeah, of course, Cordelia is there. Plus, there are some river cruises
River
offered by
cruises, yeah.
Unibold and Antara Cruise. Quite expensive, but it's a good cultural experience and exposure for someone from traveling from Europe.
Right. How the cruise costing is calculated? Does it depend on the distance of the travel and service provided?
Yeah, it's a very nice question for not to have a very objective answer. It's a very emotional answer, I would say, because cruise is an experience, and because of that, you can't really price it like a commodity when it comes to the flight ticket pricing, for example. It's not really based on, let's say, the demand alone. It's not really based on the length of the cruise alone. It's not really based on the size of the ship. It's not really based on just the brand of the ship. It's not just based on the experience that you have in the ship or maybe the amenities in the ship, but it's a collection of all of these. Because of which we call it as an experiential travel thing. So people generally pay for the experience, even though you are in the largest ship. For example, when you're going to Alaska, if you're in the largest ship, or maybe Antarctica, if you're there in the largest ship, you may not get the right experience. So I think the pricing is mostly based on the experience, and that's how they sort of do the pricing models for the cruises.
Thank you. Does any cruise ship in the world have an authority to grant visa on arrival?
I'm probably not qualified to say yes or no, but I think in my understanding there is no, except maybe some feasibility in Dubai when you arrive. If you have a US visa and all of that, there are some entry on arrivals and all of that. Plus, for Malaysia, you don't need a visa; it's just a MDR to be taken. So all of those places where we have visa on arrival for Indian passports, you can sort of do the visa documentation on the ship. But the classic visas like Schengen or let's say the US visa, Canadian visa, or Singapore visa, Australian visa, New Zealand visa, all of those visas you have to take in advance before you board the ship. In fact, if you don't have the visa for all the ports, let's say you're traveling from um, Lisbon to Southampton and you have the Schengen visa, but you don't have the UK visa, they wouldn't allow you to board the ship. Even if you're saying, okay, I'll get down one step earlier, I'll get down at Paris. But even then, they won't allow you to board the ship. So you need to have all the visas taken in advance.
Shiju, that's why we launched visas 2 weeks before we launched cruises.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we collect TCS, do you need any declaration or payment acknowledgement?
We can have both the options work out for you. You can collect the TCS at your end and you can sign the declaration and we'll just be okay with that. If you want us to collect the TCS and then give the challenge to you, we can do that. So you have both the options.
How to know the last minute deals on cruises? Okay. Can I attempt to answer this question?
Yeah.
I think globally, cruising doesn't work a lot like these airlines. So I think most of the cruise liners actually sell they start selling 1 year or 2 years in advance. So the sooner you book a cruise is better. Don't wait for any of the good cruise liners. I don't think you should wait for any last minute deals. You will actually end up paying double. So I would encourage you to start promoting cruises for 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, or next year, because that gives you time to make all the arrangements and that can help you get the best deals for your travelers on the best cruises lines in the world. Sorry, Shiju, is that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would have said as well. Just to add on that, probably from an Indian traveler standpoint, the only destination where it makes sense to wait for the deal to come because of the lack of enough takers and the rooms are available and free, inventories unsold, probably would be Singapore. Only practical destination, in my opinion, because there you can apply for the visa, let's say 10-15 days in advance and still make a travel. So you can book a cruise, let's say 30 days in advance and then manage still and get a good price. But even there, what we have seen in the last, let's say 3 years of our time in the space, and you can of course ask someone like Anup, will be that a decent majority of Royal Caribbean sailings, for example, if you take in the month of November, December or Jan, and the ship is sailing only for 4 months time, is sold out by the month of August, September, fully sold out. So you're talking about 3 months in advance, rooms sold out for a ship that's sailing for 4 months time, 3 to 4 night sailings of Royal Caribbean. So if you want to have the right set of experiences in the right cruise brand, they are pretty much sold in advance. So booking in advance is probably the right way to do it.
Okay. This is very easy. Is passport compulsory for international cruise destinations? I don't think you can leave the country before. So that's last minute cruise deals. How do you know in our portal? Last minute. I mean, I think that's when we got that, right? I mean, so obviously,
Yeah,
I mean, we have a very great. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we have a new feature that's on the anvil. Will be available on AERTiCKET for you to sort of make use and then book, which will be called as cruise deals, which will have most importantly the deals or the best prices offers for at least few geographies like Singapore, Dubai, some part of Europe and all of that. Maybe not for Alaska and Bahamas, Caribbean, but for some of the close by geographies, we'll have these cruise deals available for you to book. You can see that in about a month and a half from now.
Cruise booking is like hotel booking with all amenities and meals. Do we really need to take TCS when there is only one component of travel involved?
TCS is not really based on the number of components involved, but it's on the basis of who is paying to whom. So whether it's actually a payment that's initiated from Indian account in an INR denomination to one of the foreign accounts, which is USD or Euro, where exactly the cruise lines are operating. So if you're purchasing something foreign, and that is for travel, you are by regulation liable to pay TCS. It's not really a payment that you make, which you don't get back. It's fully refundable, but then you make that payment to let the government know that I'm spending this amount of money for a foreign service, which is travel in this case. It's more of that. It doesn't really matter whether it's a combination of multiple things bundled into a package or it's just an individual item like a hotel. Even if you're booking a hotel outside of India, and as a travel agent, if you're doing it, you are liable to sort of comply by the TCS because that's a law. Yeah, of course, in the case of packages, it's mandatory. But in the case of cruise also, because it's a foreign payment, it's mandatory.
Thank you.
Having said that, just one line to add. In about next 1 month from now, you will have a feature on AERTiCKET to be able to book the cruise directly by making the payment to the cruise lines, meaning it doesn't touch Indian accounts. The liability can lie on your customer's credit card. So you can use that card and book it, and you get the instant confirmation. So that feature is available. It'll just be made live soon. In such cases, by the definition, the payment is going from your customer's card. It doesn't come to your account. So it goes to the US account or Europe account, meaning the liability of TCS is not there. So it'll help you reducing that burden altogether. TCS is applicable for both corporate and individual payments.
If a client is in the US, is a US citizen and takes a cruise without coming to India, is TCS applicable for them?
No, TCS is not applicable for someone who's making a payment in USD to US dollar account or Euro account, and if the passport is US based, even if he's making the payment to India, it's not applicable.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, thanks, Vijay, I think. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Vijay and Shiju, and thank you everyone for your wonderful questions. So before we end the meeting, I just want to remind everyone that whoever has registered for our webinar.
One sec. Vijay, very good question. But what about commissions if we pay directly to the cruise lines?
Yeah, very interesting question. So commissions will be paid back to you after the trip is over. So when the payment goes to the cruise line, the commissions will be paid by the cruise line to AERTiCKET, and AERTiCKET will get it to your account roughly around 15 days after the date of travel is complete. It's probably one of the cleanest way of handling the cruise bookings because you don't have to worry about TCS compliance declarations and all of that. And when the trip is over, the money comes to your account without any follow-ups and all of that. So.
Okay, I think the guy who asked the question about Kushnur asked about a US client, US citizen is paying. He has a follow-up question. If the booking is done by an Indian agent, but the guy in the US citizen, he's booking through an Indian travel agent. So yeah, TCS is applicable for the traveler, not for the travel agent. It has to be collected or paid by the traveler, not by the travel agent. So because it's an US citizen, you're not liable to collect TCS or pay TCS. Correct, you?
Yeah, so the definition of TCS has to be looked from the lens of who is paying, who's initiating the payment, in terms of what passport the person has, Indian passport or, US passport, 1. 2, what denomination the person is paying. Is it actually made in INR value, INR denomination from Indian account to the agent's account? So these are the parameters to decide the TCS, liability. So if the person who's booking, he or she is based in US and paying in USD, and the passport is US based, then the liability of TCS is not there. In nutshell, I think, although it's really dirty and controversial to say, TCS is more of a punishment to the elite wealthy Indians. So.
Do you deduct taxes like GST, etc., and then pay?
No, no.
But will he not have a PAN card? And if they don't have an OCI card as well, client will pay in INR. They have a US passport.
Yeah, so that's a complex area. So if the client has a payment initiated from one of the Indian denomination accounts, then he'll be liable to pay TCS. So that's a borderline area. OCA card is a borderline area.
Deepti, you have something to say?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to address something. Kushnur had earlier mentioned about some Europe river cruising. So I just wanted to say at that point of time that, that we have amazing, Emma Waterways and Nico Cruises and Viva Cruises. We have amazing river cruising concept where you can start from a 4-night up to like a 10-nighter or 12-nighter. So if you want to really experiment a lot, we are more than happy to talk about it. See, you can organize a call with us and we can take this conversation further, because river cruising is something that's I'm quite passionate about. I always thought I was an ocean liner person, which I am, no doubt about it. But in addition, I think after experiencing the river cruising, I understand what premium luxury indeed for the clientele, what it means and how to explain and what we can be done and how beautifully can be curated as per their wish list. That's it what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Sure, Titi. We'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's it. So, this is what I was saying, Shiju, Deepti, before the call started. I think education is the key. I think a lot of agents in India want to sell cruises. I remember when I was at Cordelia, I got a call from somebody because the call center guy gave me the phone that wanted an expert, and I was explaining the itinerary. From here we go to Goa, then we go to Cochin, and then the customer asked me, so in this ship, if we go on this ship, where will I? There is a cabin. Oh, inside the ship there is a cabin. I said, yeah, there's a cabin. So I'm saying that's the key. I mean, one is great that we built a product which allows people. I think I like it. What I liked about this is that when I put on Singapore, I put destinations of Singapore, tells me what are my cruise options, pricing wise, itinerary wise. So it's great that we have a product which helps them discover cruises. They can download a PDF, send it to their clients. But the other thing is to constantly, I think every week I was talking to the marketing team, how we need to work on educating small educational content, which could be a video, which could be sent to more and more agents so that they are clear on how they can sell cruises. I think that's the key. And that's why we requested all the key partners to come here. So we want to work closely with you to educate every single agent how you sell Indigo. And I'm saying the goal is like in 6 months from now, we need a lot of travel agents selling a cruise like how they're selling an Indigo flight ticket on Indigo. Yeah, so let's work together on that. So thank you once again. I mean, I think any closing comments from anyone? Yeah, Deepti, go ahead.
So I think once the partners get a knack of really understanding the smallest element, and I think Isha really mentioned that there is a cruise for everyone, but there is like every cruise is not for everyone. That's a very, very beautiful statement, and if it is positioned very rightly, I think as Vijay also mentioned, education is something that is very important in this matter, and at some stage. To be honest, orchestrating, I would say, land flights and the sightseeing is very challenging. If the partners are willing and they get a knack of how to sell cruises and what type of cruises to what type of customers, I think they would be more than happy, because the margins that we are talking about, as we all repeatedly saying, that it's really encouraging. So they would just start loving, and I think I don't know, is it Anup or somebody said, you love it or you don't love it. Cruising is going to be the next phase, and it's just going to be not going anywhere else. So you might as well start learning. And I think this forum is the best forum that people who have not started promoting or have really been thought about seriously promoting the cruises. I think Vijay and Siju are doing a fantastic job with their team. And this could be a stepping stone for everybody on this forum. And Vijay, I mean, all Vijay and Siju, we've all been very dedicated, and I'm sure Leena and everybody, Anup, everybody agrees that we can all work together to get this forum more interesting always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lena,
Thank you so much.
Lena.
Yeah, just not like a closing comment, but through years of being in the cruise industry, we've also realized that there is a slight bit fear in a lot of travel agents because for them cruises is so vast that you don't want to get into because that's slightly out of their comfort zone. So our first base is to get them into a comfort zone. That's how they will stick because then there are a lot of agents who say, "Oh, I'm so cool with selling cruises because I've done it now." So we need to get that into our forte that boss, it is not a fear. It is very, very simple. And like Siju was always telling, you do not have to remember so many port of calls or what excursions look like. And that's why we are there. So we will be guiding you to all of that. You just have to make sure the guest is converted and he will be a repeat. So yeah, let's work on this for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leena.
So Anu, please
I
go
just
ahead.
want to, yeah, I just want to add because it's a very vast subject, which definitely cannot be covered in one. Of course, we just give a brief about each of the brands. But of course, there's a consistent activity is very, very important. Anytime if you want to do another session, probably to understand about the brands, each of them have their own features and specialities, right? And it is important when you have to deep dive, you need to understand the features of it. So then you are able to uh, suggest the right product to the right customer. So we are, I mean, we are at, I'm sure all of you will agree also that we are there for any session like that. We can definitely do a deep diving of a pure understanding, product understanding session. And there's a multiple sessions are required, because cruising is also evolving, new destinations are coming in. And if we are also getting to river cruises now, celebrities getting to river cruises from next year onwards. That is again another exciting news for us. So there are a lot of destinations are coming up, the new products are coming up, and unless you know the product, you will not be able to sell it. So it is important that you understand the product in deep, then only you'll be able to suggest the right product. So we are there for that support anytime if you required, and that's what I just wanted to add it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
No,
you.
but it's good. It's good to see after 1 hour, 48 minutes, we still have 100 plus people. So I think there is interest.
Glad.
So I think it's now back to all of us. I mean, I'm going to take this initiative. I'm going to work closely with all of you to, my request to all the guest speakers, I mean, please identify areas where, you can help. I mean, what I want is I want topics or I want literature on, and my marketing team is here. We do a lot of things to educate customers. So please send us your topics or your literature on anything, and we should constantly keep sending stuff for our travel agents, either as email or a video, so that we keep educating more and more and more travel agents. And of course, we'll also do now one-on-one sessions. So we'll connect with each one of you and do a session about each one of your product to all our
Yes.
strategies. So it's a continuous process. We'll, as I said, the goal for all of us is to increase the market. So let's work closely.
Let's do.
Yeah.
It's a
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. Look forward to catch
Thank
up
you.
again soon.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining all of
Thank
us.
It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you so much, everyone, for Vijay sir and Siju sir, for everyone joining. And before we wrap up today, I just want to say three important things. So one was we have all the registered people who have registered for the demo. So we have a 1,000 rupees discount to be given. So if you book cruises within the next 30 days from our platform, you will be receiving the 1,000 rupees voucher. And the second thing is that if you're worried about visas, we have a visa platform where all you have to do is just scan your passport and rest we will take care of it. Like it's that simple. And the third thing is that in terms of flights, we have the lowest SOTO fares. If you don't believe it, you can actually compare it with everyone else. So we have all the three that you require, which you need for cruises. So basically, yeah, once you're gonna book your cruises for the next 30 days, just remember that we have all the other stuff too. So you can make way more money with that. So I want to thank each and every one of you for taking your time to joining with us. We truly appreciate your interest in cruises, and we look forward to having a great business with you. And if you have any more questions, please mail us at cruise@airticket.in and we will take care of all your queries. So have a wonderful evening and
lost him.
happy cruising. Thank you so much, everyone.
Happy cruising.
Happy cruising. Thank you.
Because
Thanks, everyone.
thank
Bye.
you.
Happy
Thank
sailing,
you.
guys. Soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.